Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to do a top 25, and this top 25 is going to be just based on board game covers. So when they say don't judge a book by its cover, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because these games have not been released, but they had just so much impressive, beautiful artwork that I want to judge them. And based on the upcoming games, these are the board game covers that are attracting me just without even knowing what's the game is about. I want to get them just because they are a beautiful piece of art that I want to keep in my collection. On number 25 is going to be Iki Akibono. So Iki Akibono is the expansion for Iki, and the Iki's cover was done by David Sitbon, and this is done by the same artist, of course, continuing the theme of it. Just looks beautiful with the depth of the field, and you can see some of the characters sitting close to you, and the fog is slowly fading the field of vision, but the empty space on the top, the white space, has these curls rainbow with light blue lines which you cannot see from far away, but when you go close it is filled and just looks beautiful. So this is an expansion for Iki, and the cover looks so serene and true to the theme of the market theme of Iki. So that's number 25, Iki Akibono. On number 24 is going to be Skyrocket's Festivals of Fire. When I saw this cover initially, I thought, well, this is maybe lanterns, because lanterns use this kind of theme with blue background and pinkish and yellow colors on top of it. But this is actually a remake of Kites. Kites was a game in which all players are playing cards, trying to play in sequential order while trying to keep their kites in the air by using timers to see that before the timer run out, someone has to play the next sequential card. So this is the same game rethemed into about making fireworks. You have to keep the fireworks going on before the attention of people goes out, and but the cover is actually what's attractive about it. The blue background with the sharp neon fireworks on it looks beautiful. Normally I'm not a fan of the text that ruins the artwork, but here the text adds to the firework effect because even the text is bursting like a firework. So very beautiful cover done. Skyrockets. On number 23 is The Great Harbor. Now the artwork for this one is kind of fine, good. It's not very beautiful, but it's just the composition of the picture, the awe-inspiring picture of ships entering a grand colosseum like harbor, and the harbor has opened up, and it's the Roman era where this is happening. Just that picture is very beautiful. I just wish they changed the font style and the Magna Roma logo on top, because that doesn't gel with the beautiful artwork behind it. But otherwise, just a beautiful picture. The Great Harbor by Daniel Cunha, the artwork. Then the next one is on number 22, The Queen's New Capital. Now the Queen's New Capital cover looks really bright yellow golden, which I think is very, I think, true to the nature of what you expect from a queen. King should be black and blues, whereas a queen should be pink and yellows, and that's exactly what this cover is. Just beautiful. But the text on it, some people might think, okay, the text is getting hidden in all the yellows because the text is yellow and the background is yellow. But I think they are going to do gold foiling of the text, so you will be able to see it. It will reflect due to that foil, and that is what's going to make this game cover pop even more. So I really wish, this is still a prototype cover, but I do wish they will not change much of it because it just looks beautiful. So that's the Queen's New Capital, and I think the game mechanics, as far as I understand, is about a deck building game to build your capital, which is good as well, because many times we see deck building games which are just about combating each other. Why not do something else with deck building? Here you're doing deck building to build a city. Beautiful. Now on number 21 is Cascadia Landmarks. Now I was well, the illustration is by Beth Sobel. Cascadia main games cover I was never really a big fan of that. It was just fine, it was beautiful, but it wasn't something that I wanted in my collection. But the landmarks cover, I really wish this game box has enough space that you can dump your main Cascadia game inside this, because this is the cover that I want to keep. So that beautiful waterfall that's coming here, it's still at number 21. It's lower than many other things, other game covers that are going to come. But I think the reason is because, well, this is the kind of artwork that you expect from Beth Sobel. It has kind of become predictable artwork, but anyway, still a beautiful piece of art. Cascadia Landmarks on number 21. On number 20 is going to be Kingscraft, which is done by Roman Kuchersky. I hope I'm not butchering that name. Now, that cover has a sense of mystery to it. So on the front, the most visible thing you're going to see is the buffed up blacksmith who is making the armor for the king. So he's king's armorer who is building these things. So seems like a Euro game. But the mystery is actually that the whole box is not visible. It's, you can see through a silhouette of the king, the beautiful landscape behind, which is the area of the king, the land, and there are some adventurers. There is a mage, a knight, and a ranger who is traveling to a cave. And the cave, even if you look closer, the cave has some dark glowing eyes there. So are you actually equipping these adventurers so that they can go on different adventures? So that makes it a Euro game suddenly much more exciting than a standard Euro game where you're doing it just for money. So the cover gives so much sense about what you can expect from a game, while keeping some mystery as well, that how will it play. So I hope I'm interpreting this cover right, but that's the sense I get from it, and that's why I'm very much interested in Kingscraft on number 20. On number 19 is going to be The Element. The Element is about a card drafting game where you are time travelers going through time portals, collecting these different elements, and once you have the enough elements to submit, you can win the game. But that theme is represented in the game box by this time traveler who is standing, the kind of kid, and a portal is opening in the sky, in the forest, and the colorful fireflies are floating about. Just a beautiful cover, fantastic artwork. So that's what attractive about number 19, The Element. On number 18 is Horror on the Orient Express, which is a game set in Call of Cthulhu universe. So in this one, this is a game which they had shown recently at Gen Con, and the game is using, rather than miniatures, some dice monsters, etc. But it's actually the cover that I'm interested in. As I mentioned in this list, the cover looks horribly beautiful. The horrible train, the eye is the catching part of this whole cover. Immediately your attention goes to that eye which is glowing and the light is coming out of it. So rather than a torch or light coming through it, it's actually the eye through which the light is coming, and the monsters, the wraiths, are clinging on to the vines filled train, and the smoke is coming out of it, which is giving ominous feel. And within that smoke, if you look on the right side in the background, there is a horrible Dracula like figure coming there. So why is that Dracula in a Call of Cthulhu game? Who knows? So that just beautiful horror looking cover makes the game look really beautiful. Horror on the Orient Express on number 18. On number 17 is going to be Joyride Survival of the Fastest. This was a recent Kickstarter. Uses the cover is done by, well, all the artwork is done by Paye Par. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But the cover is just so beautiful, using these very simple vector kind of artwork, simplistic background, but with few colors and the comic style artwork, you're given a sense of speed and action. The explosion is white and green rather than your typical kind of explosion where the jeep is getting exploded, which matches the theme so much. The pink joyride and the border, looks beautiful as well. And you can even look at the Joyride dual version cover by yourself as well, and that looks beautiful as well, which is a variation, a two-player variation of Joyride. So that sense of speed and action while using this very plain cover with neon colors, just beautiful. I immediately got attracted by the cover, and I backed the Kickstarter for it just because of that. First of all, gameplay came later as well. So that's number 17, Joyride. On number 16 is going to be Amritsar, the Golden Temple. The Amritsar is an actual Sikh temple where this temple was built with marble, copper, and 750 kilograms of gold. So that's why the name the Golden Temple. And this artwork with the blue water background and candles floating all in it with the Golden Temple in the center is a serene, beautiful picture that looks so good. I'm still ding it a little bit. It's still on number 16 rather than higher above, because I still think they took a real photograph and just applied a lot of filters on it. It worked, but still I would have preferred if it was a true artwork, and I would be amazed if it was actually an artwork and not a photograph from which this cover was made. But still an awesome cover for a game. Number 16, Amritsar, the Golden Temple. On number 15 is an artwork by Andrew Bosley for Rise of Babel. Andrew Bosley's artwork is so recognizable, whether he does critter artwork or whether he does architecture artwork, which he has done previously for Tapestry. And when I first looked at this cover, actually Tapestry was the game that came to my mind, that maybe this is an expansion for that. But no, this is going to be a separate game, and I think this is going to come in 2025, so there is still time to improve, because I think I do think that the clouds in the background still need a little bit more detail. The tower in the background still needs a bit more detail, but the pillars and the elephants in the front have been flushed out very beautifully, and that's Rise of Babel, and that gives me a sense of really good inspiration that the game will be about building this awesome temple in the future. On number 14 is a game from Board and Dice Barcelona. Now, I'm not a fan of games from Board and Dice because for my taste actually they are very heavy Euro games, but Barcelona's cover is so inviting with that yellow hue in the background and the red rooftops of the buildings and the green trees everywhere and the cathedral under construction in the center. Just awesome work they have done. It's an inviting cover. You want to see, oh, can I see inside? Is it as beautiful inside as well? And if it is, I want to play it. That's the feeling you get from this cover. So these box game covers are a real source of attraction. Your real marketing starts from this one, and I hope more companies pay attention to that. On number 13 is Havilandi. Havilandi artwork is done by Lucas Sigmon. The game is done by Rainer Knizia, and I'm not interested in the game as much because the game seems like a very simple game about pattern matching, where you're trying to have different of these balloons, hot air balloons collected to match the scoring patterns, something like that. But I'm not looked into detail of any of these games, but I think that's what the game is. But it's actually the cover which looks beautiful. These hot air balloons, whenever there are multiple of them floating in the air, the scene is so much more awesome than a solitary hot air balloon. Who wants to see a solitary hot air balloon? Whether it's in Turkey, Havilandi, just beautiful. And here it's the same as well. The cover is so peaceful and inviting, something like a canvas cover, that you get attracted to it. So I hope the game turns out to be good as well, because the cover surely is. On number 12 is East India Company's, a game coming from Hutch. East India Company's cover has a very simple theme. It's just a giant ship in the front. So why is it on my number 12? Because I love the contrast it has made in the background of it, and nobody notices that background on the first look. But That's what the beauty of this cover is. It looks like a simple ocean scene with the city in the background, and that's it. But it's actually not one city, but two different cities, two different continents, which are being represented on this cover. On the left side, even the water is gloomy, the sky is gloomy, and you can see the London's artwork, the Big Ben, Clock Tower, and well, England ships there, while the right side has bright cheerful suns, the greenery, and well, different ships, and the Mughal Islamic architecture building there. And that's Indian subcontinent. But how they have merged it, you cannot even find the difference where the two have really merged. The dark gloomy colors of the sea slowly change into the brighter bluish colors in the Indian region. So that's what is attractive about this cover for me. That's East India Companies, and the logo is very good as well. On number 11 is Inferno, a game cover that speaks for itself. The game cover is inspired by the Dante's works about the different circles of hell, and the game is told as a souls management game where you want to take the souls to their rightful place. But there is also a city management part where Dante is trying to expose the sinners. So a very unique theme, but other than the theme, the artwork is so awesome. I just love how the river Styx is made of this rock canyon with the glow of lava, but it's not lava. You cannot see really the river or the lava, but it's rockish, and there are skulls embedded in the rocks. Just gives a real horrible feeling, an uncomfortable feeling while looking at the picture, which is what you should get when thinking about Inferno. On number 10 is going to be Colosseum Avetitus. Now this is a variation of Colosseum game, which was a classic game about setting up the Colosseum games in the Emperor Roman era, and this is a variation for which the artwork is being purely done by Inotool. Now this gives a really great view of that you are entering the arena. So you can see the curtains hanging, and you can see that within the arena they have filled the arena with water, and battleships are doing well battle a water battle. The ships are doing a water battle in a Colosseum. Just awesome, beautiful. Pigeons flying, the guys asking you to come in, inviting you to come into the Colosseum. Oh, Tool has outdone himself. I love his artwork. So that's Colosseum Avetitus. I'm lost for words for it. So that's number 10. On number 9 is Sankore, the Pride of Mansa Musa. Now this is in Osprey Games line. They have done one similar one before. So this one is Sankore is university built by Mansa Musa in Timbuktu, and the game will be about area control. Area control to spread the knowledge from the university in the West African region. And the cover is again, what can I say? Just awesome. Again, another cover by Inoto. It was really hard for me to pick which one was better, but this one was more unique, more brightful colors, and the Arabic text written around it, and the picture pattern that he did in the center just made it look much more beautiful to me. But again, I can easily swip between 8 and 9, and both covers are just awesome. Again, the numbering doesn't even matter in these top 10s. On number 8 is going to be the Gold Nugget, and the artwork and the game design is by Carlos Carreras. Now this is a game which I'm not very much interested in. It is a bluffing game where you have to find out who is bluffing about who has the gold nugget. But again, I selected the game based on the artwork of the game, and this one gives me the feeling of old-timey children storybooks and even very old Disney animated movies, but more about the artwork which inspired those movies. So that line art within those sketches, the color pencil look of this one, just I think it's nostalgia which it brings out, which is making this cover so much attractive to me, and that's Gold Nugget. On number 8. On number 7 is artwork by Vincent Dutray for Canopy Evergreen. This is a game, well, I think it re-implements Canopy, or it's an expansion. I think it re-implements. It's a new variation of Canopy. Canopy Evergreen. Again, just like you can spot Andrew Bosley's artwork, you can always spot Vincent Dutray's artwork, how he has those unique stroke style that he does, whether he does the real animals, humans, or even the backgrounds, the artwork of the beautiful sceneries. He has his own art style. It's very recognizable and works every time. And Canopy Evergreen, the composition of this picture is so good. He kept an empty space in the center with the blue mountains in the background so that you can easily see the name, whereas the front side is heavily loaded, the bottom side is heavily loaded with artwork of a fox, of fishes floating in the water, and one fish jumping, and a bear is trying to, well, coming to catch that fish. So beautiful composition by Inner Tool. Number 7, Canopy Evergreen. Sorry, not Inner Tool, Vincent Dutray. On number 6 is Bruxelles 1893 Bellepuk. Bellepuk, I hope I'm saying it right. The artwork is by Emo Bastarac. Now, Bruxelles 1893 was an auction market majority kind of game, and I still own the original version of this game. It's still in shrink wrap. I never got to play it, but I still own the original one. But this is the new and bigger box set of Bruxelles 1893, which contains the same game as well as the expansion Bellepuk, which is going to come in a new box. And what they have done with this cover, the original cover was just a monotone cover, but this cover has those very toned down but colorful, the blue and the yellows and the pinks in the center, just the harmony of the colors they have done without making them well, burst in your eyes with colors. It just had those light colors set in the early 90s Art Nouveau style. Beautiful. So that's number 6, Bruxelles 1893 Bellepuk. On number 5 is Evenfall. The artwork is done by Martin Motor. Now, Evenfall, on first look, oh, you feel like, okay, this is something similar to the trees that Andrew Bosley does, but this Evenfall tree, if you look very closer, has a lot of sharp details. Even each petal of the tree, of this yellowish tree, the markings, elvish markings on the tree stumps, and there are mages floating in portals around this tree, and they are trying to complete some ritual, magical circle around it. Oh, again, so much beauty is there, which gives you the theme of the game about, again, magicians who are trying to do magical things around this ancient and magical tree, Evenfall. But the artwork of this tree is the centerpiece of this board game cover, and which makes it really beautiful. So that's number 5. On number 4 is another artwork by Enotool. Now, Enotool, even though I like Vincent Dutray's artwork normally more than Enotool, but I think recently Enotool has started doing so much more than his simple graphical outlines that he is becoming now my favorite number 1 artist. And the next game, Cascadero, is another example as well. Enotool has always a good sense about color schemes, line work, and now using the artwork, he's doing the same thing as well. So Cascadero is a cascading action tile placement game, and even if you look at the board, the color themes he has used just pop out without looking, well, too cartoony. And The cover is a good example of what you can expect in the board game itself. Just beautiful art everywhere. Cascadero, and the game is by Rainic Canizia. So this is one of those games where I'm excited about the game as well as the artwork coming from Bitewing Games. On number 3 is Dune Imperium Uprising. So Dune Imperium, I again needs no introduction. It's already in BGG's top 20, I think, if not top 10. But I didn't like its cover or the game board because, well, its cover was just a picture of a planet. But Dune Uprising has that warm sandworm on it going through that sand, and the hero is actually clinging on to it on the top. It just gives that sense of action that I expect from Dune, and that's what this cover gives me. So I will immediately put it in my wish list. Okay, so this is the version of Dune that I want to get. They still haven't fixed the board, which I still think is a little drab, but just because of the cover, I've decided I want to get this game. So that's number 3, Dune Imperium Uprising, a standalone game in the Dune Imperium series. On number 2 is The Old King's Crown. Now, this game cover, you have to look at the level of detail. Each and every inch of this game cover is brimmed with artwork. Whether you go to the left corner, bottom corner, you will see pillars with beautiful petals growing on it or gems. On the right side you can see cannons and a withered land. On the left side there is cultivated land, farmlands. The windmills look beautiful. The middle scene, which is dividing it, the windmill is being half broken, so something bad has happened on the right side. On the left top side is a beautiful castle with waterfalls flowing through it as well from the top going up to the bottom, whereas the right side is ice tundra with ice crystals. I have no idea about the game. I just keep looking at this cover and keep imagining what would be inside it. Beautiful. So that's my number 2, The Old King's Crown. And finally, on number 1 is going to be Colosseum. The Miko and Inotool join forces together. The Miko comes to give the artwork of the main cover, the main characters, while Inotool will be providing inside the game. 2 of my favorite artists joining together to give my number 1 artwork, which I'm excited about. Colosseum is again a game, is an old game which is being rebrought by Fantasia Games, and the Miko has really good sense of how to draw characters. His characters are again very unique, but he has his own style, but I like his style of character drawing, and that's what he's doing for, well, the different warriors, the gladiators that are going to be entering in this Colosseum. You will be putting up these shows for the Roman Emperor so that he's happy to show the glory of Roman Empire in those days. And well, just the artwork, that sense of action and crowd player coming out of this box is so good. Lions being thrown in, horses being thrown in, everything that was in the game, somehow it has been condensed into that cover, while keeping the center on the gladiator and the Roman emperor sitting on the side. So beautiful composition, beautiful artwork. My best cover of all of the game that I'm excited, Colosseum. So that's it. These are the top 25 games for which I'm excited just based on their cover. Again, as I said before in the intro, that you should not judge a book by its cover, but for these games I sure will, because the cover gives me so much hope for what's inside the game. It excites me, and I really wish that all the game publishers are giving this much attention to their covers, because the cover is the first thing that is going to attract someone to look behind the box and see what is this game about. I want to know more. So hope you enjoyed this list. Again, this game will become very quickly outdated because there will be more games announced. There will be these games will be released, and then people will exactly know how these games are. But as of now, these are my favorite games that I'm excited about based on their covers. Hope you enjoyed this list. If you have any other board game covers that you are excited about the game based on their cover, leave that in the comment. That's it for me. Happy gaming.